Story, a very emotional day in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. The 18-year-old taking the stand yesterday, explaining why he felt he had to defend himself against the two men he killed, wounding a third person during a Black Lives Matter protest in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Take a listen.
That's right, run.
We're going to just take time for our break anyway.
Now, this has been difficult to watch, his emotion on the witness stand. A lot of people are thinking that that could have some impact on the jurors in this case, but we want to actually speak to our legal analyst, Angela Sandella, about all of this. Now, clearly, this is a controversial case, and there are a lot of people who would say, you know, his argument of self-defense is absolutely absurd. But as Rittenhouse was sobbing, he did make a statement saying, I didn't do anything wrong. I defended myself. From a legal standpoint, does he have a reasonable claim of self-defense here?
Yes, he does. And look, his testimony was absolutely pivotal to the jury, who is trying to decide that right now, whether or not he truly acted in self-defense. And that depends on whether or not they believe he reasonably believed that his life was in danger. So when they see him on that stand, emoting, breaking down, and crying, they can see the fear instead of just hearing about it. So it is pivotal, and I think he definitely has a reasonable claim here.
Well, and there are some people who thought that he came off as coached. One law professor telling the Associated Press that could certainly impact how the jury observes him or feels about him. Do you think that can impact his credibility?
Yes, absolutely. So the key word here is whether or not the jury believes his testimony or views it as a performance. That's the jury's right to decide that. So some of them will probably view it as totally honest, and others will view it as coached.
The judge came down very hard on the prosecution, really raising his voice, putting the prosecution in their place. The jury was removed twice. The judge, again, laying into the assistant district attorney, saying that there was some inadmissible evidence that was brought up in questioning. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So the prosecution did two things here that really upset the judge, and deservedly so. So the first thing is that the prosecution commented on Kyle's use of his Fifth Amendment right. Now, this is a deeply protected right in our Constitution, and no prosecutor is ever allowed to try to insinuate anything about the defendant for having used that right. But the second thing that the prosecution did here is that they pursued a line of questioning against Kyle about his character that the judge had specifically disallowed before, but they just did it anyway. So remember, we also hold prosecutors to a higher standard than other lawyers. They're not just trying to get the best deal or win the most money. They're supposed to bring justice, to bring fairness, to bring balance. So when a prosecutor does this, it really upsets everybody, especially the judge.
Yeah, clearly not pleased. Angela Sandella, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.